What are the chances of two massive action franchises, one we haven't seen for 5 years, the other we haven't seen for 15 years, bringing out two new installments within weeks of each other, both starring the original leads, who are both mega movie stars, Mr. Tom Cruise and Mr. Harrison Ford, both films being world-travelling action-adventure flicks that include crazy street chases and a runaway train rooftop fight that both end with the trains being stopped by a bombed bridge. Yes, both actors out on another big screen action adventure, and both being joined by a younger, sassy woman who's along for the ride to give a bit of cheek. One you want to slap, and the other you want to slap somewhere else. Each film having very similar action scene setups, yet one looks sad, boring and very fake, while the other is exciting and looks, well, we'll say very realistic.
Tom is driving and drifting one-handed through the streets of Rome. That was a day I will never forget.
Yes, of course, the two films we're talking about are Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Stay out of my way.
Ah, yes, Mission Impossible, produced by Tom Cruise, who has a passion for film and his audience, and Indiana Jones, produced by Kathleen Kennedy, the kiss of death for any franchise. Oh, Kathleen, how much longer can you hang on to power? Any day now, Bob Iger's going to come marching down that corridor and get rid of you. We've been saying that for about 7 years. Now, if you'd like to see my full Indiana Jones review, which is absolutely fantastic, click here or I'll leave the link in the description. But before you do that, let's get into Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Because if you like good action scenes that are shot on location, a fairly good story, a very pleasing to the eye cast, a cast that can actually act, God forbid, multiple scenes of Tom Cruise running, and buttloads of Dutch angles, then praise be to Tom. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is probably for you. I do love how the whole world agreed that watching Tom Cruise run is adrenaline-inducing, so every film he makes until the end of time has to have at least one running scene. So fear not, this film has about 5 of them. Praise be to Tom. Now, contrary to popular belief, I actually watch a lot of good things that I like. The trouble is most of those things aren't shown at the cinema, or they have subtitles. So I can't tell you how enjoyable it was to go to the cinema and just sit back and relax and watch a big action film. Because I can't remember the last time I sat down to watch a film and had any confidence that it was going to entertain me for the whole runtime and not turn to shit halfway through.
People are chasing us.
Yes, they are.
Now, I wanted to chat about a few things this movie does much better than most of the other junk coming out of Hollywood over the last few years. Especially a very recent film. Looking at you again, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Are you okay?
Now, firstly, it's hard to believe that this franchise started nearly 30 years ago, and we still have the same lead actor. In that amount of time, James Bond had gone through 4 lead actors and was soon about to get onto their 5th. But Tom Cruise isn't like normal people. He's hardly aged in that time. And no matter what you think of him, his commitment to the audience is phenomenal. His real-life mission is to entertain, and boy, does he pull that off in this film, in a very big way.
Who is that person?
I have no idea.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 easily out-indies Indiana Jones, but a lot more telling is that this film out-bonds James Bond, and in a very big way. This film is far better than our last miserable outing with our dying James Bond. In fact, the action, story and cast are far better than either of those two films.
So stay in your lane. You get in my way, I will put a bullet in your knee.
Seeing action filmed not only on location, but using those locations to great effect is such a relief. After watching years of CGI abuse and witnessing a lot of action that had zero imagination, if I had one small complaint, it would be that the shaky cam got a little bit out of hand during the car chase. But that seemed to calm down as the movie went along.
Looks like we lost them.
The cast is strong the whole way through. Older and newer characters come together well, and there is good chemistry between all of them. Tom seems very good at picking people that not only have charisma and can act, but they also seem good at keeping up with or playing off his intensity, which can't be bloody easy. Guy's crazy. And I was very excited to see Rebecca Ferguson come back. She's easily becoming one of my favourite current actors. It doesn't hurt that she can act, and she's easy on the eye. I'm very much looking forward to seeing her in June later this year. And her introduction into this film is fan-bloody-tastic. Listen up, Hollywood, and all you weirdos online. This film is how you do great female characters. See, it's quite easy. You just write them good parts and then hire people with charisma and acting talent. You know, people that are actually enjoyable to watch on screen. I know that's a strange concept for a lot of studios. Looking at you, Disney. But it really goes a long way if you don't want to slap the person you're watching.
Truth is vanishing.
You'll never look at Mantis the same way again. Pom Clemente plays an awesome kick-ass assassin who has a killer move straight out of Police Academy that we'd all like to experience. I mean, if you've got to go, there are worse ways to die.
Who's next?
That's me! I love it! I love it!
But quickly, let me tell you about some amazing tech that would be right at home in the Mission Impossible movie.
Yes!
Like everyone these days, I'm always rushing around. And the one thing I always take with me is my Raycon earbuds. Blocking out the hectic outside world has never been so pleasurable. Whether it's music to get you through that extra 10 minutes at the gym, or your favourite podcast to get you through that long day at work, or maybe you just want to catch up with your favourite YouTuber. Oh, Disney, you idiots. With Raycon, you can get outstanding audio quality and incredible battery life at half the cost of some of the other premium audio brands. And that's because the Raycon audio engineers cut their teeth at brands like Boss and Peloton.
What more can I say?
And what I love about my Raycon earbuds is that they let me choose how much of the outside world I actually block out. That's right, with these clever little earbuds, you can choose between noise isolation and awareness mode. And because Raycon are so sure you're going to love your new earbuds, they offer an easy and free return guarantee. They also offer buy now, pay later options. Ready to buy something small with big impact? Well, just click on the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/robothead to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. And while you're there, remember, they also make a wonderful gift. Got you something special.
Thanks, Robothead. You're always so thoughtful. Now, it's time for you to leave.
Whether you're looking for a pair of everyday earbuds, low latency gaming headphones, or a speaker with a battery that will last the whole night at your next party, Raycon's got you covered.
Oh my god.
Another thing that Hollywood could learn from this film is that you don't have to embarrass your characters as they're getting a bit older. This film shows that times have changed, but they do it in an entertaining and respectful way. A scene with an electric car shows that Ethan is not as in tune as he used to be. But the best way this film handles the times are changing is with two agents that are trying to capture Ethan. A more level-headed young guy and a hard-ass old-school dude who prefers the blunt force approach that might not always seem to be right in the eyes of the young sidekick. But that being said, the older guy shows the brute force still works. I do like they surround Tom with characters that allow him to be full Ethan Hunt. You've got the funny, loving combination of Ving Rhames and Simon Pegg, the young older combination with the chasing agents, and the more serious women. It allows Tom to move between these personalities without relying on him being all those things all the time. We can get a funny line from Ethan Hunt in one scene and then go full melodramatic in another, and all of it works. Though I wish they gave Ving Rhames more to do than just sit on a laptop. That's all he seems to do in this film.
What more can I say?
Another thing the film gets right is the humour. When and how to use it. One of the big things that'll take me straight out of a movie is bad, misplaced humour. And we have had so much of it over the last decade. Bloody 90% of the humour we get in action or superhero films is just someone being a complete smartass to someone else. Because apparently Hollywood thinks that someone just talking to someone else like shit is incredibly humorous, and I'm so bloody sick of it. But the latest Mission Impossible lands the humour without taking you out of the scene. It doesn't involve one character belittling another and talking like a little bitchy teenager. An early scene has our old school agent who is tracking Ethan describing how hard he is to kill. It's funny and doesn't make either of the men look stupid. It actually makes you take them both seriously. There is a long car chase that starts off somewhat tense before turning into a chase that could have been in the original Michael Caine Italian Job.
Go. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
A lot of car chases can get very boring very quickly. To avoid this, a lot of movies just go into the ridiculous. So it was a clever decision to change the tone of it halfway through. It felt like it could be straight out of a classic James Bond movie.
Not that low.
And speaking of Bond, this film has the glamour that went missing in the last overly serious Bond installment. Scenes that are pure eyeball candy, like when Ethan and Ilsa are arriving at the party via one of Venice's canals, the type of location and cinematography that lets your mind escape reality. You know, what cinema used to be all about.
Listen to me. The world's coming after you. Stay out of my way.
And this being part one of the two-parter, I was pleasantly surprised at how it ended. I'm not a huge fan of two-parters. So often they stop leaving too much tension, and you exit the cinema very unsatisfied and a little frustrated. Well, there's no fear of blue balls with this film. The ending is satisfying, but still has you looking forward to the next installment.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is filled with holy shit moments.
It's the most pleasure I've had in a cinema for a very long time. It's so rare to watch something that you just know isn't going to go off the rails halfway through. Please let this be a sign that we're coming to the end of the superhero films. Anyway, you should go see Tom run on the big screen. You should go see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Because, as we know, these types of films are few and far between. And because I'm not a fan of Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm, I want to point out, at least Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is going to get its money back, unlike the recent Indiana Jones film. That film's going to lose over $250 million for Disney. And that, my friends, is a new record. Yes, and we all thought Solo, a Star Wars story, losing $50 million was bad. Oh, Kathleen, how much dirt do you have on Bob Iger? How are you still in that job? Now, I've only just got to work out how to get Rebecca and Pom to take turns beating me up.
Oh, I like her.
this where we run?
Probably.